Ladies and gentlemen, this story has a lot of layers and it kind of has something to do with a kid because the woman that you see on my screen was pregnant, and I do say was because she is deceased. They found this woman stuffed in a suitcase, and I'm gonna tell you guys. So, as a forewarning, this story is gonna have some details that may or may not sit well with your sensibilities. Then, my commentary after that may or may not sit well with your sensibilities as well. So if you can't handle that, I understand if you need to leave. I do appreciate everybody who comes here. Please make sure you guys click that thumbs up. Once you help share this stream, I will make sure that everybody has the opportunity to speak on these stories, okay? But our goal is always to get to about 400 to 600 thumbs up. I want more people to share these stories because I don't want to see this type of thing happen. I do feel very bad for this woman, and this is a black woman, okay? So it definitely means something a little bit more than to me, okay? Now, it might seem a little insensitive about what I'm going to say, but let me give you guys the story as far as what we believe happened. Let me see if I can get them on the screen. The individual on the left-hand side, his name is Thomas Johnson, who is 37 years old. The lady on the right is Emily Trevathan. I don't like, what kind of names do these people have? Trevathan is her last name. Trevathan. Maybe that's a common name. Maybe I'm just the dummy. But Evelyn is 24 years old. Why she look like she's somebody's grandmother is beyond me. But they both are out of North Carolina, and they were arrested in connection to the slaying of that foresaid black woman by the name of Brittany Simone Smith, who was 28 years old. Johnson and Trevathan were arrested by authorities during a traffic stop in Raleigh, North Carolina on Wednesday, February the 10th, only about 3, 4, 5 days ago. Both are accused of killing Smith, and this is according to Wake County Sheriff's Office. Hashtag not my words for this first part. Both are accused of killing Smith, who was last seen on February the 4th. The body of the missing pregnant mother, and I'm going to repeat that. The body of the missing pregnant woman. This has a lot of layers to it. This woman was pregnant, and she was found stuffed in a suitcase on Monday. No one deserves to die like that, her friend Dale Williams told the news. Frightened, in pain, and alone. Let me see. Brooke Pennell Ferriol. I can't pronounce her name. Her friend let me see. Her cousin by the name of Brooke spoke to the news and said only monsters could have killed a pregnant woman. Smith's boyfriend by the name of Cody Page, and I'm going to say that again. Let me see if I can get her face up on the screen. This woman had a boyfriend. Her boyfriend said that she was involved with drugs and had a secret life. I want you guys to remember, this is not me saying this. They gave an interview to the news, which makes the news basically a third party once they put it out on TV and in these articles. So this is not my words. I'm literally just telling you from a fourth party standpoint what her own boyfriend said about her. He's saying that she was caught up in some illicit deeds, and shout out to Illicit Deeds, by the way, because I think they posted this story on Facebook. Said that she had a secret life that was involved with drugs. You also have to remember that this woman was pregnant. You also have to remember that this woman was in a relationship, a full-blown relationship. Then the third thing you'd have to ask is, how does that match with these two individuals? That's a lot to think about. We're also going to talk about that tent that you guys see right there in that picture. It's a whole lot to unravel with this story. No pun intended. That woman was my heart and soul. This is according to her boyfriend. She was my backbone. She was the answer to my question, according to Cody Page, her boyfriend. She had a secret life and she wouldn't keep me informed. She was doing stuff that I didn't agree with. So, if we can stop and pause there just for a moment. He said that she led a secret life and that it was involved with drugs, but the way that he described her is that he said that this woman was his heart and soul, his backbone, and the answer to my question. Is it okay if and hopefully you guys can let me know in the chat, is it okay if I call this boyfriend, Cody Page, a full-fledged simp? Is it okay for me to call him that? Because that's what I believe he is. I'm sorry, but you can't wipe your behind and then hand it to me and expect me to accept it. That makes absolutely no sense. This woman is disrespecting you, playing you, lying to you, holding things above your head, and this woman is pregnant with your kid. What kind of a man are you? What kind of a man is that? What kind of a boyfriend is that? You are not holding this woman accountable. You are not protecting your child that could have been. And on top of that, and let me say this, and I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from. Maybe the boyfriend, since he being such a damn simp, he should be arrested. Let me tell you why. Because if this woman was complicit with drugs and doing illegal activities, then guess what that means for the boyfriend? That's right. Potentially jail time. Because you knew that this woman was involved in illegal activities. You allowed it to happen. You saw something, didn't say anything. And the fact that you knew that she was pregnant, and then you continued to allow this to happen. However this came about. Do y'all agree that the boyfriend, Cody Page, should be investigated and potentially arrested and charged partially with her death? I do. But let's keep going. Cody Page said he saw text messages between Smith and Johnson last week in which Johnson said that he was going to pick Smith up. That was the last time that Page saw her. A statement from the sheriff's office fails to reveal what led investigators on this case to detain the suspects. The search for Smith began over the weekend. On Monday, the Wake County Sheriff's Office opened a homicide investigation from a missing persons case following the discovery of a body that was stuffed in a bag near the shoreline of the Neuse River in Raleigh. Neuse River, go figure for that name, right? It's pretty ironic. The Neuse River, but she was found stuffed in a suitcase. I'm just saying that's a really weird name. Police alleged that Smith was strangled to death. Again, Neuse River, strangled to death, right? And noose, they spell Neuse. So it's not like noose like we're used to seeing. But Neuse River, and she was strangled. However, no motive for the killing has been determined. Page, who was recovering from his own addiction, said processing the loss of Smith, whom he had been with for 7 years, is unbearable. I actually feel physical pain because my other half is gone. I'll never be able to hug my baby again, Page said. Johnson and Trevathan are being held in the Wake County Detention Center with zero bond. Those two assholes right there. We'll come back to them here in a moment. But right now I'm going to deal with the baby mom, the missing woman, and boyfriend. We're going to deal with those two first. Both of them are being held on charges of murder and murder of an unborn child and concealment of a body. So let me ask you guys a question real quick before we get further into this. And again, if you guys are listening, we are currently live. Please click the thumbs up, share this stream, let more people know that we're live. I want more people to be involved in this conversation. A lot of y'all sent me this story because y'all wanted to hear what I had to say about it. Okay? But now I want to hear what y'all got to say. Let me ask y'all a question. That woman died a horrific death. To be strangled and stuffed in a suitcase, that's just so messed up on so many levels. And I want everybody to understand where I stand with that. That's not okay. That's wrong. And that sucks. That sucks that they did that to her. And on top of that, this woman was pregnant. Let me ask you guys a question. Here's my question. How many of you guys feel sorry for her? I do, just a little bit. But answer it honestly. How many of you guys feel really bad for her and your heart bleeds for this mother, for this woman, for this black person? Remember, we talk about Black Lives Matter. I'm assuming that there are a lot of people who cared about this, right? I'm assuming that Black Lives Matter was all over this case and they were out protesting in the streets about this murder and all of that stuff, right? Or maybe they weren't out protesting this. Maybe her life didn't matter so much to Black Lives Matter and that innocent fetus that this woman was pregnant with. Ready for this? It's kind of hard for me to feel sorry for her and for her boyfriend. First and foremost, let me say this. They both were on drugs. That's a choice that they made. That's the bed that you made and you lay in it. This is why you're told from early on not to get involved with drugs. Just say no to drugs. We could look into this whole conspiracy with the United States of America and all of that, pumping drugs and all of that. We could do all of that, but we're not going to do it tonight. We're just going to say that we have to hold each other accountable, our family members accountable, and let's just say this. They should have never gotten involved with drugs. And on top of that, they were conscious, they were aware of what they were doing, and they chose to have unprotected sex with each other, which is something they did not have to do, but they did. They created a conception, a child to be, an unborn child. And on top of that, how many of you guys feel sorry for a mother that knew that she was pregnant and still continuing to do drugs, lying to her boyfriend, deceiving her boyfriend, and harming her child, her unborn fetus in the process? She knew that she was pregnant and continued to live this dangerous lifestyle, and people want to feel sorry and bad for her? The only person I feel bad for in this entire story is the unborn child, because that baby, we're the AFC. I want y'all to remember, that's why our priority is first, so don't get mad about what I'm saying, okay? Advocates for Children. DJ Just J is a part of the Advocates for Children First. That unborn fetus can't speak for itself, it can't defend itself, and its body is going to be so messed up even if that woman would have given birth to that kid. That child may or may not have survived because of all the drugs in her body, huh? Did anybody think about that for a moment? You know what kind of birth defects this kid could have had? Child maybe could not have survived. And on top of that, and shout out to Tommy once again, because this is a point that he talks about all the time, is the high rate of mothers who have kids. The what do they call that? The death rate of mothers trying to give birth in America is absolutely asinine. The chances of a mother in America giving birth and dying is very high. I forget what you call that, but it's a very, very high rate. So it's already hard enough to try to do the right thing and have a kid. But let's move past that point. Let me talk about two other things, because somebody else in the chat caught it. Two things. First thing is the family of this woman came out and said that the senseless violence against women needs to stop. They said that the violence against women, pregnant women, and black women needs to stop. You know what we say about that in the South? When we have some real doubt about what people are saying, we say, Really though? Really? Senseless violence must stop. Let's think about that for a minute. So this woman was living an illicit lifestyle, lying to her boyfriend, doing some strange things to probably get some change, right? Doing drugs, harming a baby, and putting herself around just the worst kind of people. But they're saying that the violence was perpetrated against her. I think drugs and violence all goes together. Does it not? Do we all not know that? This woman was, how old was she? 28? 28 years old. 28 years. Yeah, we're going to talk about the family. Thank you. Thank you, Ann. I'm so glad this live chat is open. Y'all are thinking tonight. Thank you. Thank you for listening with an open mind and an open heart. They said, why didn't the family help? We're going to talk about that here in a moment. 28 years old, 24 years old, 37 years old, and they didn't mention how old the boyfriend is, so I'm going to assume that he's probably close to about 30 years old. And you mean to tell me that you're talking about that these people are way past grown, like we like to say, and they don't know how dangerous the drug game is, where they live at, around the world? They had no idea? We're gonna treat them like children and say, oh, well, they just didn't know no better. This mother didn't know what this lifestyle was gonna lead to. Really? And then you're saying the violence perpetrated against her. Well, what about the violence perpetrated against her own unborn seed that she clearly didn't care about? Two more things real quick before I show y'all the news videos. Two more things. I want y'all to notice something, because we're going to talk about this. I want y'all to take a look at a picture. Where is it at? I got a couple pictures of it, but let me show y'all something real quick. I'm going to pause it right here. I want y'all to look at this picture. Can y'all see that clearly, or do I need to make it bigger? I might need to make that bigger. Y'all might not be able to see that. Can everybody see what's in that picture? If you can't, let me know. I will make it bigger for you. That right there. But let's blow it up. Can everybody see what that is right there? Can anybody tell me what that is in the woods right there? For those of y'all who feel bad for the mom. Yes, it's a big ass nasty tent. A so-called outside home. I want y'all to understand that this mother who was, or soon to be mother, I don't know if she was actually a mother or not, if she already had kids, she was pregnant, doing drugs, lying to her boyfriend, and they were living in this tent that you see on my screen. You don't have money. Clearly you don't have common sense. But you're going to turn around and create a kid and force a kid to live in these type of circumstances? But somebody is still going to tell me that I'm wrong for what I'm saying. They were living in a tent, and it was not even a nice tent. It was a nasty, cheap-looking, filthy tent with trash all around. Let me see if I can show y'all some more pictures. Like this one. Can y'all see this? I think I might have maybe one or two more pictures of this tent in these decrepit conditions. Let me see. This outside of somebody's house. Y'all can see this, right? I know I got a couple more pictures in here somewhere. Look at that, man. And on top of that, like the person in the chat said, we feel so bad for her. And then the family wants to come out and say that the violence was perpetrated against her. Why is it that they didn't have a place to stay, a roof over their head, bringing children into this world, and none of the family reached out to house her? None of the family put her in their house. But we want to feel bad for her, but the family didn't even feel bad enough for her to help her. I want y'all to keep that in mind. Let me give y'all the fair usage, because I know some of y'all are pissed off and don't understand where I'm coming from. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And again, if you guys would, do me a favor. We only have 280 thumbs up. We should have 400 thumbs up. So if y'all would, please click the thumbs up. And I will try my best not to pause too many times in these videos, okay? We're at 200 thumbs up. We need 400. 400. Please click the thumbs up.
A body is found in a suitcase along the Neuse River. Now investigators working to learn whether she is a pregnant woman who was reported missing. CBS 17's Holden Krawicki has been covering this story for us today and joins us live with the very latest. Holden.
Well, Russ, the coroner has since removed the body, but investigators spent the day combing this entire area from the woods all the way down to this area where the body was ultimately found. Now, while the identity of the victim has yet to be released, Sheriff Baker confirmed that they had been combing this area throughout the weekend looking for 28-year-old Brittany Simone Smith, a pregnant woman who was last seen Thursday. Smith's family has been here at the scene off and on throughout the day, but Sheriff Baker stopped short of giving them the closure that they're looking for until the body can be properly identified.
If this is in fact this young lady that we've been looking for all weekend long, someone is responsible for that. That just doesn't happen.
Again, the body was found in a suitcase, and Sheriff Baker says that it is safe to call this a homicide, and they are investigating it as such. If you have any information that could help investigators, you're being asked to call Raleigh Crime Stoppers. Reporting live in Raleigh, Holden Krawicki, CBS 17 News.
The two people accused of killing a pregnant woman and disposing of her in a suitcase will stay in custody without bond. Both Emily Trevathan and Thomas Johnson appeared in court today. They are accused of killing 28-year-old Brittany Smith. Court documents say she was 6 months pregnant with a boy. Deputies found her body in a suitcase on Monday near the Neuse River in Wake County. She'd been reported missing on Thursday of last week. In court, neither suspect was given bond. They will be back in court next month. Deputies have not yet released a motive.
Now, breaking news from CBS 17 News.
We are following two breaking stories tonight. The shooting death of a UPS driver. But first, new at 11, new information from the Wake County Sheriff on the woman's body found in a suitcase in Wendell. CBS 17's Amy Cutler just talked to the sheriff. So, Amy, what do we know tonight?
They have confirmed at this point, the sheriff has confirmed that the body found was that of the missing pregnant woman, Brittany Smith. We also know that they have arrested a couple in connection with this. They are now being processed at the Wake County Detention Center. The sheriff saying that they were taken into custody during a traffic stop. We want to get right to those mugshots now. These are the two suspects that have been arrested. They've been identified as 37-year-old Thomas Johnson and his girlfriend, 24-year-old Emily Trevathan. The sheriff wouldn't say how the suspects knew the victim, Brittany Smith. We know Smith, who was pregnant, was reported missing Friday. She was last seen Thursday. Investigators say she died from strangulation and somehow a motel room was involved. Smith's body found stuffed in a suitcase found near the shoreline of the Neuse River in Raleigh on Monday. Authorities suspected it was likely Smith, but now we have confirmation. Investigators working this case round the clock.
Through numerous interviews and search warrants, investigators were able to obtain a probable cause to get these warrants. We have just finished interviewing both of them, and they are currently being processed out at the Wake County Detention Center as we speak.
Very emotional. Imagine that. It's a young person, young lady, regardless of what type of life, how life is for any of us. You know, no one deserves to have their life taken.
Now, these suspects will be charged, the sheriff says, with murder, murder of an unborn child, and concealment of a body. The sheriff saying that his thoughts and prayers are with Smith's family. Now, the specifics of this, the motive, the details, still investigators are being tight-lipped about this because they tell me the case, the investigation, remains ongoing.
And I'm going to tell y'all, I don't really know what the motive is. I think I'm going to try to give y'all a motive, but do you guys want to hear what one of the family members had to say? I'm going to let y'all hear her interview, but I want y'all to vote for this in the chat. But here's one of the family members. I will let y'all hear this, and if y'all can't hear it, I'll turn it up as far as the volume. Here we go.
On February 9th, 2021, we received the tragic news that our loved one, Brittany Simone Smith, was brutally murdered and her body found in a suitcase near the Neuse River. Yesterday we learned that our beautiful daughter, mother, granddaughter, sister, niece, cousin, and friend was snatched away from our lives and the lives of her innocent children. She is no longer with us to laugh, cry, dance, change, and become a woman of her full potential. Her baby did not get the opportunity to grow, love, play, and to get to know his brother. Today, Brittany has become another number in the thousands of missing Black women who are killed.
Someone discarded Brittany Simone Smith and her baby like they did not matter, and we want justice for all the persons involved in the crime. We demand justice for Brittany Simone Smith because unfortunately she is unable to stand up for herself. Over 64,000 Black women are missing in the United States, and the media rarely reports it. Unfortunately, our Brittany was one in that enormous number, and the news did not use this opportunity to spread awareness about her disappearance.
Wow. So we're going to blame this on the news? Wait a minute. See, that's what my problem is. Because they're spreading this like, Lord have mercy. This is so scary how people can literally make the most messed up choices and it's always somebody else's fault. Let me explain to y'all this. Do y'all remember the Gorilla Glue hair girl? Y'all remember her? And she turned around and this stupid broad sprayed super glue on her freaking head and had the nerve to blame the company. I know 2-year-olds that know not to spray freaking Gorilla Glue in their hair. But I guess when you're grown and stupid, I guess it don't matter. You can always, as long as society continues to allow people to say it was always somebody else's fault, I could always point the finger somewhere else, we are never going to get anywhere. Okay? This woman put herself in the most dangerous positions, the worst positions, and then did it when she was 6 months pregnant. So at no point that you found out you were pregnant, not after month 1, not after month 2, not after your first trimester, you're already in your second trimester going on your third. 2 trimesters, and nothing about that said, I need to go get help. I need to get out of this situation. I need to protect my kid. I need to stop doing drugs. And by the way, y'all are asking who said she was doing drugs. Her boyfriend, who was screwing her and got her pregnant, said that they both were doing drugs. It's always somebody else's fault. Matter of fact, while we're talking about the Gorilla Glue hair girl, do y'all know that they actually took a picture of her buying a brand new Mercedes-Benz off the showroom floor with that money that she got for supposedly being ripped off by the Gorilla Glue company? Did y'all know that? She opened up a GoFundMe and that chick turned around and went and bought a brand new Mercedes-Benz off the showroom floor. Hashtag babies for benefits. These people in society as a whole ain't gonna learn until y'all cut their water off and force them to live with the stupid decisions that they make. Case in point, stop making it seem like people hate black folks and people hated this black woman and they wanted to see her die. No, She was living an illicit lifestyle, and the lifestyle is what caught up to her, just like it does with everybody. Matter of fact, and I remember this in the movie New Jack City, and shout out to them in that movie, where he said, death doesn't care what color you are. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's a death thing, and death doesn't give a shit about color. Neither do drugs. And that's probably one of the realest things, one of the realest statements I have heard, because it definitely applies. It ain't about color, it ain't about race, but this woman is going to make this all about race. This is why I think her interview was stupid. But let's continue.
We are thankful for the work that the Sheriff's Department has completed after the discovery of Brittany's body that led to the 2 suspects being found. We are thankful that once Brittany's body was located, that she became a priority and that they worked diligently to find the 2 suspects. However, we cannot say that our experience thus far has all been pleasant. The Sheriff's Office has not been cooperative and has failed to provide the family with the common decency of information. We had to learn the essential details from the news. We learned of her cause of death from the news. We learned about the gender of her baby from the news. I'm sorry. All of this information and more has been requested of the Sheriff's Department, and yet they let the public know more than us. We have not even received the autopsy report. This case has gained national attention, and we are here to let you know that this case is long from solved. The family has provided the Sheriff's Department with numerous tips, and we are requesting that all the tips be investigated.
We have somebody in the chat, and I want y'all to remember, we don't want anybody blocked or timed out, but you're saying, how dare I blame a woman murder on her drug habit? Well, here's the thing that maybe you don't understand. Maybe your parents didn't teach you any value. Maybe parents didn't teach you how to be self-reliant, responsible, and be a good citizen in the United States of America. But most logical, right-thinking, law-abiding citizens understand this one thing. Drugs don't lead to anything good, and it is a choice. Nobody takes the needle to your arm and forces it in your arm. Nobody forces your mouth open and then starts throwing pills down your throat. Nobody snatches your nostrils open and start funneling coke up into your nose. Nobody takes that glass dick and then click the thing, put the little drugs in there, light it. I don't know how you do it. I just seen the movie New Jack City. I'm sorry. I don't know how to actually do it. But nobody sticks that glass pipe in your mouth and smokes it and enjoys it and continues to go back and look for the high. So, and then on top of that, the fact that you knew that you were pregnant, knew that you were having unprotected sex, you know that having sex leads to babies, then you know that doing drugs will lead to killing your child. I guess we're just going to ignore the fact that the drug usage alone will kill the child, huh? You can just ignore that, okay? Let's just ignore the children. How about we, you know what, how about we just cancel our whole damn channel? What's the point of advocating for children when we could go out and advocate for grown, stupid-ass adults? How about that? How about that? Let me give a shout out to our new channel member, Gabriella Torres. Clearly somebody understands, and I want to say thank you. Thank you, sister, so much for joining the channel membership. Clearly some people in the chat understand what I'm saying. I didn't think I had to break it down that much for people to understand what I'm saying. Advocate for children first. And that's so scary to me that we've been doing this for 3 years and people still don't understand that what I'm saying is that everything was done wrong for this child. First and foremost, your lifestyle is not conducive to raise a child, to get pregnant with a child. Your lifestyle is not conducive to have sex, huh? Let alone that you're having sex and don't have a roof over your head. You don't have insurance. You don't have health care for the kid. You're probably not taking prenatal pills. You're probably not having prenatal care, huh? You probably don't have diapers. You probably don't have wipes. You probably don't have bottles. You probably don't have a crib. You don't have a plan. You don't have a future for this child. Do I make myself clear? Are we just going to ignore all of that? I guess so, but I'm going to let you continue to do it. It was just some points that I wanted to bring up and speak on. So like I said, you're only allowing me to basically cover some things that I was thinking in my head. And I know most people understand. I know we're going to always have that 1% out there that act like they don't understand what I'm saying. Like this woman and like 1 or 2 people in the chat, but it's okay.
To their fullest extent. We want all parties involved in this crime to be found and prosecuted. From accomplice to conspirator to murderer, we want justice. We have reason to believe that more than the 2 people are involved, and they all need to be found. Yes, we are outraged, and any decent person should understand. Brittany did not die of natural causes. Her body was found in a suitcase. Her baby, Aspen's life, choked out. We are filled with sadness and anger about it.
Let's go to the next video.
More than 24 hours have now passed since a body was found inside a suitcase along the Neuse River in northeast Raleigh. And the Wake County Sheriff's Office has yet to ID the body or release the cause of death. However, as CBS 17's Holden Kurwicki found out today, friends of a pregnant Wake County mother are holding out hope it is not her.
In the hours following the discovery of a woman's body inside of a suitcase,
no one deserves to die like that, frightened, in pain, alone.
Wake County Sheriff's deputies served a search warrant on this Wendell home.
I offered to let them in because I had nothing to hide.
According to Dale Williams, deputies weren't interested in what's inside of his home, but rather outside, where 28-year-old Brittany Simone Smith and her boyfriend Cody Page have been living for months.
And did y'all hear that? They said the mother and the boyfriend had been living in that tent for months outside of that man's house. His house. So nobody's going to call that out? Not for days, not for weeks, for months. But I guess that's okay though. They've been living out in the back of his house, not inside his house, not on his patio, on the freaking ground in a tent for months.
Deputies weren't interested in what's inside of his home, but rather outside, where 28-year-old Brittany Simone Smith and her boyfriend Cody Page have been living for months.
I didn't have the means to put her up inside, you know, but this certainly beats living under a bridge.
When Smith disappeared Thursday night, he says Page was beside himself.
He was completely devastated.
Deputies questioned Page after Smith's disappearance, but I've confirmed that he isn't considered a suspect.
And Cody loved her very much.
While Williams waits for an update on Smith's whereabouts,
this is someone I've tried to help, I've nurtured and cared for.
He says all he...
Okay, we got a couple people in the chat who are asking, who is this man? Is he family? The answer is no, from my understanding. I could be very wrong. I don't think he's family. I think he was just so-called trying to be nice by allowing them to camp out in the back of his backyard, from what I understand, but that could be wrong. He could be maybe a family member of the boyfriend. I don't know. But I think that's awfully weird that you will allow somebody that's pregnant with a boyfriend to live in the back of your house outside in the elements in a tent, won't let him into the house, and apparently nobody went out and called this out. They didn't say anything to family, to somebody. I don't know who you call. Maybe call Ghostbusters. I don't know who the hell you call.
Can do is pray the remains found by the river aren't hers.
Whoever it was.
But that's his house, his property, and they were living in the back of it.
Somebody's child, somebody's daughter, somebody's girlfriend or sister.
In Raleigh, Holden Kurwicki, CBS 17 News.
I mean, I'm not going to point the finger at him. I mean, like I said, they were the ones who put themselves in that position. Let me give you guys a couple more videos, and then we'll wrap up with this story. Got one more story to tell you guys.
And right now we are waiting for an official ID on a body found inside of a suitcase along the Neuse River.
It's our top trending story online right now. CBS 17's Liz Ortiz live in Wake County with the information we've learned about the hours leading up to the discovery. Liz.
Well, Bill and Randy, we can tell you that this investigation continues. Wake County officials have not yet said who the victim is in this case, but we know friends of a missing pregnant Wake County woman are hoping it isn't her. Now, we interviewed a man by the name of Dale Williams who says deputies served a warrant on his house near Wendell. This is where Brittany Smith and her boyfriend lived in a tent for months. Smith, who is pregnant, was reported missing last Thursday. Williams tells us he didn't have the means to allow Smith to live inside his home. He says all he can do is pray the woman found in the suitcase isn't Smith.
No one deserves to die like that, frightened, in pain, alone.
I'm going to find out who's responsible. I can tell you that, because these things just don't happen. Okay, there's somebody's responsible. If this is in fact this young lady that we've been looking for all weekend long, someone is responsible for that.
Now, we have confirmed that deputies questioned Smith's boyfriend, but investigators say he is not considered a suspect in her disappearance. Again, we are waiting on the official identification of the body found inside of the suitcase. We're live.
I don't understand how the family wasn't capable of helping her. They were counting on this random dude. Just everything about this just seems real wrong. We'll skip this interview because it's really long. It's almost about 10 minutes long. It's a police interview. I'm going to show y'all these last two videos. But we got one more story. It's actually a positive story right after this one.
New developments are really upset.
Did somebody put insurance on her? I don't think so. It don't seem like anybody gave a crap, to be honest with you.
Story. There's a couple sitting in the Wake County jail accused of killing a pregnant woman and then stuffing her body in a suitcase.
Now, CBS 17's Liz Ortiz live in Wake County with what we know about the suspects. Liz?
Well, Bill and Randy, arrest warrants in this case show the victim, Brittany Smith, was 6 months pregnant with a boy. Now, Wake County officials have not released a motive in this killing, but the two suspects are due in court at 9 this morning, and that is when we hope to learn more details in this case. Now, take a look. Authorities arrested this couple, 37-year-old Thomas Johnson and his girlfriend, 24-year-old Emily Trevathan. The sheriff wouldn't say how the suspects knew the victim, Brittany Smith. Smith was last seen a week ago today, and investigators say she was strangled.
Breaking news, Wake County deputies searching for answers after finding a woman's body inside a suitcase along the Neuse River.
The discovery came just before 10:45 this morning in northeast Raleigh near Millburney Park.
CBS 17's Holden Kerwicki is live at the scene where police are still investigating. Holden.
Angela Russ, investigators have been searching all throughout this area, including the woods, all the way down to this riverbank where the body was found. And the sheriff tells me that one thing is very clear. This is a homicide.
It's not every day, it's not every morning you find what could be a person's body in a suitcase in a river.
Wake County Sheriff Gerald Baker didn't mix his words after a woman's body was located along the Neuse River near Millburney Park.
It's safe to say that this is no accident.
According to Sheriff Baker, search crews had been combing the area throughout the weekend looking for this woman, Brittany Simone Smith, who relatives say is pregnant.
We've got a lot of folks who are very concerned about the whereabouts of this young lady. She's a daughter, she's a sister, she's a family member to a lot of people who have been working very hard trying to find her.
Smith's family was at the scene, but Sheriff Baker stopped short of providing them the closure they're seeking.
If this is in fact this young lady that we've been looking for all weekend long, someone is responsible for that. That just doesn't happen.
I did see deputies escorting a family away from the scene.
Yes.
They said they were going downtown for questioning. Was that just standard protocol? Or?
Well, we have people of interest. You know, again, it becomes investigation is a process of elimination.
A process that Baker believes they'll quickly get answers to.
And we're going to find out who's responsible. I can tell you that, because these things just don't happen.
Sheriff Baker did tell me that they believe they will be able to make a quick identification on this body. If you have any information that could help out investigators, you're being asked to call Raleigh Crime Stoppers. Reporting in Raleigh, Holden Kerwicki.
Let me go ahead and stop those news videos. Let me give y'all my closing thoughts. It's so much that is wrong with this story, and I know people are asking, where are the family members? Let's just start with that first. Where are any of her family members before this happened? So whoever said that in the chat, shout out to you. Before. Because this woman clearly had problems before we got to this point, and that's part of what I'm talking about. Like, if we just look at the tragedy that happened, then we'll forget how we got to this point and how to prevent it, okay? What we talk about here is prevention. We don't want this type of thing to happen, and in order to prevent these things from happening, you have to look at how we got here. How did she get to this point? First and foremost, how do you become homeless? How do you end up being in a relationship if you don't have a place to live? How do you end up with a boyfriend who does the same drugs or doing drugs along with you? How do you end up getting pregnant if you're homeless? How do you end up having no kind of health care, no kind of nothing, going on your third trimester? Not a single family member in 6 months stepped in. Nobody did. Because clearly somebody knew where this woman was living, because she was living in the back of some random man's house, her and the boyfriend. So that also means that nobody checked on the boyfriend either. Somebody knew. They saw something and didn't say anything. So like I say, before we put too much focus on this woman, I'm not justifying her dying, but what I'm saying is that her decisions, her bad decisions, and the family's lack of care caused us to get to a point of where we are now. Doing drugs alone can kill you. How many people die every year, every day, every month from drug overdoses? How many babies die from drug overdoses? That alone can kill people. And on top of that, you don't have a roof over your head. If you don't have a roof over your head, you should not be getting pregnant. There is no excuse for that. I know I have a lot of good, awesome, amazing women in my chat right now that will ride with me on that and let people know that that's not right. That's not fair to children. Where are my advocates for children at? That's not fair to a child. These two people, they're going to go away for life for what they did. I don't even care why they did what they did. They just need to be convicted on what they did and thrown away in jail. Because what they did was, that's sick. They strangled that woman. Why? For no reason. There was no reason. You can't justify it. There was nothing bad enough. And whenever the boyfriend was talking about she was leading a secret lifestyle, I don't know what he meant by that. Was she sleeping around on the boyfriend? I don't know what that fool is trying to say. But I think the boyfriend knows way more than what he actually put out in the news statement. Because I didn't make that up. I did not make that up at all. But again, I want you guys to remember, the whole point about this is what happened to the children. Remember, we are the AFC. We advocate for children first, not advocate for drug dealers, not advocate for drug users, not advocate for anybody else except for the children. The children are the ones who cannot speak for themselves. That unborn baby cannot speak for itself nor defend itself against all of the choices that mama was making for that baby. And mama was making some real bad choices before we even got to the point of her being murdered. That's where we have to start this conversation. That's how we prevent these things from happening. And we need to make sure that the people that do these type of things and take advantage of people are taken care of in the court of law. And they need to absolutely be in jail for life for what they did to that woman. but we have to keep all of this stuff into perspective, okay? I'm DJ Just Jay, we're the AFC, and I hope you guys listen with an open mind and an open heart, and I thank you guys so much for listening to this stream. Don't forget to click the thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel, okay? Because we're going to continue to keep exposing these stories and giving you guys a perspective that I don't think you're going to get anywhere else. You can bank on that, okay? Thank you.